Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Complete Amateur's Guide on what to maybe possibly do, but not do, but sometimes do, because we really don't know what we're doing, especially with prepatch. Everything's kind of crazy right now. But at least we have a Shadowlands announce date, supposedly November 23rd. I don't know, we'll see. But for now, everybody is playing all sorts of different classes and trying different things, new things. If you want to level a tune, now's the time to do it. You can do it pretty quick. Um, and so people are leveling new tunes and trying things to figure out what they're going to want to play in Shadowlands. Currently, specs and DPS, especially in DPS, are kind of all over the place in power-wise due to Azerite armor. Because with the pre-patch, we got a lot of the Shadowlands abilities and spells and unpruning and whatnot, and you pair that up with BFA's current system of Azerite gear, and some people are a little wacky. That being said, we're going to take a look at the Affliction Warlock today. I'm going to show you my rotations, my talent choices, my weakauras, things that I've put together. I ran a raid the other night. I did decently well. Still on the thing here. Yeah. So, hold on. Let me clear that. So, the Affliction Warlock. What's changed? What's new? Before, the current, the most popular spec included quite a lot of dots, but now you have even more. Because before you had, I want to say you had 4 dots, 3 or 4 dots that you had to maintain, and then you would spam Unstable Affliction using your soul shards. That has changed. Unstable Affliction is now a dot itself. I mean, it was before, but it's now just a single dot. You can't put multiple applications of it on the target. And so once you get all your dots up, now you want to spend your soul shards on Malefic Rapture. Your damaging periodic effects erupt on all targets, causing 210 shadow damage per effect. So the more effects you can have on a target, the more that's going to do. So it behooves you to maintain as many dots as possible. So we'll take a look at the spec. As always, I got my spec from Icy Veins, but like I said, it's a great guideline. It's a great place to go, read up, check to see what they think is the best, and then build it yourself. There has been some times where I've put in a spec that they suggest, and I try it, and I hate it. And I have to move 1 or 2 talents around, or here and there. Usually they're pretty much right, though. Usually I can run the spec that they suggest, and it performs very well. That being said, sometimes their specs don't vibe with your playstyle. For example, the Affliction Warlock, the top tier spec right now, which is this, means maintaining 5 separate dots. So you're maintaining 5 separate dots, and then you're using your soul shards on Malefic Rapture, and you're using Shadow Bolt as a filler, which we'll go over the rotation soon. I rarely get to Shadow Bolt because I have to maintain so many different things. So, spec. We're not going to go too in depth about all this. Like I said, if you want, you can go online. You can read what all these do. Nightfall, I really like Drain Soul. I really do. But like I said, I found that it's rare that I actually have time to do my filler, which is Shadow Bolt, even though it's a 1.8 second cast. It's a pretty quick cast, but I don't always have time to do it. So Nightfall, which is the suggested top choice in this tier, is very nice because as I'm doing all the dots and whatnot, Nightfall will proc and I can just fire off an instant Shadow Bolt for extra damage. Very, very convenient. It's also nice if there's any type of movement. You can bank your instant cast, and as soon as there's movement, as you're moving, you can throw it out. You can also, 3 of your dots, Agony, Corruption, and Siphon Life, are all instant cast. So you can also, as you're moving, instant cast your dots. So Nightfall's very good. Um, Siphon Life, recommend it on this tier. Wonderful. It is an extra dot, so if you don't like maintaining dots, you can switch to something else. That's fine. Um, Siphon Life is nice though, especially if you're doing trash or multiple mobs, multiple bosses, things like that, because it does give you health. Siphons the target's life essence, dealing 933 shadow damage over 15 seconds and healing you for 30% of the damage done. It's a small heal, it's not substantial, but it is a heal. And the more targets you have it out on, the more healing you're going to get in return. So it's decent. Uh, in this tier, this one is more up to you. I ran Demon Skin for a while, and um, your soul each absorption, blah blah blah, and now absorb up to 15. It's nice because it generates, but once you've used up the Demon Skin, it takes some time for it to regen back. And I don't know. I did not. Oh, hold on. Your soul each absorption now passively. Recharges at a rate of. Yeah. So it recharges and it provides you a defensive. But if you use up your Demon Skin, it takes a while. Like I said, it takes a while for it to recharge. And if you're taking constant damage, it's not going to. It ends up falling flat most of the time. Dark Pack is a great ability in an emergency, but honestly, you shouldn't be in the situation where you need to use Dark Pack. You should be avoiding mechanics, doing this, doing that. And if you are in a dire situation where you're going to take a huge hit or whatnot, you do have other defensives. You have Unending Resolve, which hardens your skin, reducing all damage taken by 40%. And you also have health stones. As a warlock, you will always have a health stone. So you have defensives. So if you get to the point where you have blown through all your defensives and you need Dark Pack, you're doing something wrong. Burning Rush is my go-to in this talent tier. It's not quite a sprint, but it increases your movement speed by quite a bit, 50%. But remember that it also damages you. In raids, if you can't mount, it's pretty nice, to get from boss to boss, room to room, keep up with the group, trash pack to trash pack. You can activate it and just run around. Who cares how much life you lose, because if you get low, as soon as you get where you're going, the healers will top you back up. The thing about it, though, is it's also good during boss fights. So, you're doing this, you're doing that, and all of a sudden you need to get, over here as fast as possible, and you haven't set any of your movement abilities, which we'll go over. You can pop that and run over that way. Just remember to turn it off. I've seen warlocks forget that it's on and sit there and they're casting and they're doing stuff and their health is just chunking down and the healers are losing their minds. So it's a wonderful movement tool. Just remember to turn it off. And use it sparingly if you're using it during a boss fight. In 35, this is your AoE tier. Vile Taint is amazing. Amazing if you're doing tons of trash pulls. If you're doing Mythic Plus, it can be very, very powerful. Sow the Seeds used to actually have quite a bit of benefit. Not anymore. Because one seed will spread corruption just fine, and yeah, it's just not very powerful. Phantom Singularity is a decent AoE, but it's also a damn decent single target. So it's basically perfect for all situations. It's also on a 45-second cooldown, which is nice, where Vile Taint's on a 20-second cooldown, so it's another thing that you're going to have to do more often and keep track of and whatnot. Whereas Phantom Singularity, you have to manage it a lot less. Also, if you haven't noticed, the bottom line there, healing you for 25% of the damage done. It's yet another source of healing. So during raid bosses and trash pulls and stuff, it's again you're getting healing back. Very beneficial. 40 is another tier where it's your preference. It's completely up to you. I do not like using Howl of Terror. First off, it doesn't work on bosses. Second, if you're using it on minions and whatnot, they can flee in fear and pull other mobs. You can get into some real bad trouble with Howl of Terror. I don't love it. It has its uses. I don't like it. Dark Fury is nice. Reduces the cooldown of Shadow Fury by 15 seconds and increases its radius by 2 yards. It's not bad, but it just enhances the spell you already have. You already have Shadow Fury, and it's a 1-minute cooldown, which is not that long. So it doesn't add anything to your kit. It doesn't give you anything extra. Dark Fury just by itself, I think, is fine. So I usually go to Mortal Coil. You're going to sense a theme here because it heals you. Horrifies an enemy target into fleeing, incapacitating for 3 seconds, and healing you for 20% of maximum health. Your maximum health. That is a huge chunk of healing on a 45-second cooldown. Now, like Howl of Terror, you've got to be careful because if you cause them to flee in the wrong direction or towards a bad thing, you could put yourself in danger. But, unlike Howl of Terror, it works on bosses. No, it does not cause them to flee. It doesn't do anything to the boss, but you still get the healing. So that's very beneficial. So it's basically a heal on a 45-second cooldown. I believe so. I know you can use it on specialized mobs that don't take CC. I could be wrong about the bosses. I don't think I am, but I could be. Regardless, it's a nice ability, provides a good chunk of healing. On 45, Haunt is the go-to. It's the most powerful thing here. Again, Dark Collar, just like Dark Fury, reduces Summon Darkler's cooldown by 60 seconds, which is nice, but it just enhances something you already have. It doesn't add anything extra, whereas Haunt does. Grimoire of Sacrifice is simming very badly. It doesn't do very good DPS, but some people like Warlocks but hate pets. If that's the case, go with Sacrifice. Yes, you are going to do less damage than the other Warlocks running Haunt. But, like I said, at the end of the day, it's all about your enjoyment, how you feel about the game. At 50, it's Dark Soul Misery. The other two almost aren't even worth mentioning, so I'm not going to. Like I said, if you want to go more in depth, you can go online, you can read all the other talents, exactly what they do, weigh your options, you can come down here to the training dummies, I always show you where they are, and try things out. But this is the top spec recommended. I have tried it, I enjoy it, and it does work. Alright, talents. Let's see if I have anything. Yeah, there we go. That fixed it. Talents. As a warlock in general, these are your in general talents. All warlocks have these. You have Banish, which is just a CC that you will rarely ever use. But you should have it somewhere. If it's not on your direct bars, you should have it at least on the sidebar or somewhere accessible, so that in those emergency moments where you're like, oh my god, I can banish this thing, you're not having to go through your spell book like, oh, but it's not on my bars. Have everything on your bars. Somewhere on your bars. That being said, I don't think I have everything. Do as I say, not as I do. Command Demon changes depending on which demon you have out. I usually use the Fell Hunter because it provides Spell Lock, which is an interrupt. So I put my Command Demon on my interrupt key, because when I summon my Fell Hunter, it becomes my interrupt. Simple as that. It does do other things with the other pets, but just about everything else is PvP related. Fell Hunter is about the only thing that provides a PvE benefit. Corruption's one of your dots. Healthstones, you can create Healthstones, which are just absolutely amazing. Some raids will bring a Warlock specifically just because they have Healthstones. Restores 25% health, 1 minute cooldown. Simple as that. Amazing. It's like a health pot that you can just create tons of. Soul Well creates a well so that everybody can get Healthstones. Curse of Exhaustion, more of a PvP talent. Slows Stark's movement speed. I have it on my bars. Rarely ever use it, unless I'm in PvP and the warrior is trying to charge me down. Curse of Tongues, again, more of a PvP talent. slows casting speed. Kind of funny when you throw it on a caster PvP, but regardless. Again, it's on my bars. Curse Weakness, again, PvP talent. You can use this one in PvE, that being said. But if you use this, you cannot use, is it Agony? Oh my god, did they change this? Oh my god, did they change this? See, this is why we do this, because I don't know everything. So it used to be in the past, Agony was Curse of Agony. So these, you know, really cool abilities or whatever that did little benefits and buffs and whatnot didn't really matter because you couldn't use them because it would overwrite your main thing. But it looks like they changed that. I wonder if they work on bosses. Interesting. Anyways, you also have a teleport. This used to be something you had to spec into. I always spec'd into it because I thought it was an amazing movement ability. You don't have to spec into it anymore, you just have it. It's divided into 2 spells. You put down where you want to teleport to, and then the second spell will teleport you to that location. I have a handy macro. If you guys want to take a look at this, pause the video. You can type all that in. I'm sure you can also Google and find it to copy real easily. Basically, all it does is it makes it so when this is my teleport button. When I hold down Alt, it'll put down that, and if I'm not holding down Alt, it teleports me. Simple as that. So if I want to change the location of it, hold down Alt. I want it over there. Pretty easy. Really nice macro. Also, a very nice movement ability, so that, you know, if the boss is casting something on you, you don't have to, you know, hoof it over there and interrupt your spell casting. You could just instantly move. That being said, be careful where you put your teleport, because you could, oh no, something's on me, and teleport into something far worse. So, be careful. You also have Demonic Gateway, which is a movement ability for you and anybody in your party or raid. It goes that far. And it creates 2 gateways. If you click on either gateway, you will travel to the other one. The only problem is it puts a 2-minute debuff on you, so you can't use it for 2 minutes. You can only use it every 2 minutes, which is kind of lame, but I understand. It's still very powerful. So if the whole raid's over here, tanking the boss, doing things like that, you know, and the whole raid all of a sudden, like, oh, we have to be on the other side of the room, we can click that and the whole raid can travel over there. Very handy. It also, it used to have to be on flat ground, not so anymore. I could put my other one up there and travel up the stairs, so it goes vertical as well. There are some weird limitations, but still very powerful. Drain life is exactly what it says. It drains life. It is not a deep... It does do damage, causing 470 shadow damage over 4.5 seconds and healing you for 500% of the damage done. It does do damage, but not enough to make it a DPS button. Not enough to put it into your rotation at all. It's more of a, oh dear lord, I'm dying. So if you're starting to get really low on health and the healers are dead or focused on the tank, God knows what, or whatever, and you just really need a heal, you can drain life and you can save yourself. Very helpful. I have Kilrog, kind of a cool ability. See, I don't have it on my bars. I should be right there. There we go. Creates a little eye that you can control. Why didn't that work? I think I moved too soon. You can control, you can go around, scout things. If you can fly in a zone, so can it. But yeah, you can go look at things. Are the mobs over here? Things, you know, is the guy over here? What's going on up here? You know, things like that. And your body stays where it is. Really cool little ability. You also have Fear, which is your CC ability. Um, you know, all these changed to disorientate. I wonder if they stay in place now, because Fear used to be horrible, just like Halotera. You don't want things running around. They may have changed that, though. I think you just click this again and it cancels it. Yeah. Fell Domination, new ability that we got back. Your next Amphivoid Walker Succubus, basically your next pet, has its casting time reduced by 5.5 seconds. 3-minute cooldown, which is insane. But basically what it is because you already summoned your pet. It's already with you when you go into battle. What it is in the middle of a fight, your pet somehow magically dies, and you need to get it back immediately, and you don't want to waste time summoning it. That's what it's for. Again, I have a macro set so that as soon as I press it, it does my Fell Hunter. So, very nice. Health Funnel heals your pet. So if your pet is taking damage for God knows what reason, you have your pet. You can heal your pet. Ritual of Doom, hilarious ability. I'm glad they brought it back. You and 4 other people channel onto this object, and one of them will die and summon a Doom Guard. You can then subjugate the Doom Guard, and it becomes your pet. I did some testing the other night. It does about 5 to 6% more damage than a standard Warlock pet. So it is actually beneficial to use the Doom Guard over, say, your Fell Hunter or whatever. That being said, Subjugate is a 5 minutes spell. You can only subjugate the Doom Guard for 5 minutes at a time, and then he will start attacking you and other people at random, and you have to resubjugate him. I have designed a weakauras so that I know when this happens and I can resubjugate him pretty fast. But you need to track that. If you're not willing to track it, don't do it, because you need to keep him under control. That also, the Ritual of Doom is a 1-hour cooldown, so if you die, obviously your Doom Guard dies, you can't just resummon him. So you'll have to go back to your normal pet. Ritual of Summoning, Warlocks are able to summon anybody, anywhere, as long as you have 2 other people helping you. Shadow Bolt, just your main castable damage dealing ability. It's your filler. Shadow Fury, AoE stun that you can cast anywhere. Soulstone, you can put a Soulstone on someone, and when they die, they can use the Soulstone to res themselves. Or you can watch someone die and then cast the Soulstone on them and battle res them. It does share cooldowns with all other battle reses. Subjugate Demon, we just talked about that. Summon Demon, that's just all how you summon all your different demons. You have Unending Breath, which is just kind of a silly spell. I mean, it's nice, don't get me wrong, but just a weird utility. This is your defensive, we went over that, and then those are your passives. We're not going to go through that. As an Affliction Warlock, you have Agony. It's one of your dots. Burning Rush, we went over that. Dark Soul Misery, infuse your soul with misery of the fall. Increases haste by 30%. That's what you're we told you to spec into. It's a cooldown. Very powerful. Haunt, another one of your dots you should be specking into. Malefic Rapture, we went over that. Mortal Coil, went over that, went over that, went over that, went over that. Summon Dark Glare. This is your big boy cooldown. Summon Dark Glare from the Twisting Nether. That it does damage, which is very nice. It does pretty damn decent damage, but the main effect is that first part there, that it extends all existing dots by 8 seconds, which is amazing. So when you're going into a boss fight, you don't want to summon Dark Glare from the beginning. You want to get all of your dots up, including Phantom Singularity. Get every single dot you have up, and then you can pop Summon Dark Glare, because it will add 8 seconds to all of them, which is amazing. Unstable Affliction, just one of your dots now, and then your passives. So, those are all the abilities, those talents. Real quick, your Azurite gear. Racking Brilliant, set onset. I don't think there's anything extremely important in the Azurite traits. There are preferable ones. There are ones that you should have over others. Icy Veins, I highly recommend it. But I don't think there's any, like, if you don't have this, you can't play this class. Same with essences. Those are the ones I'm using. That's the ones that have been recommended, so that's what I'm using. They're very powerful. I really enjoy them. But again, you can have multiple combinations of your essences, and they can be just as powerful in different situations. The main thing about essences is that you have at least rank 3. Your rank 3 essences are huge. They will boost your DPS like you wouldn't believe. For example, Breath of the Dying at rank 3, if your target is below 20% health, the chance for extra damage is increased by 400%. That is huge. If you don't have rank 3, that 400% increase isn't there. So that's a perfect example of you need to make sure your essences are rank 3. Your cloak should also be rank 15, but not nearly as important as your essences being rank 3. I cannot stress that enough. Alright, so your rotation. Real quick, weakauras, just like all my other tunes, I have a bunch built. This one's kind of crappy. I just built it last night in about 2 seconds. This tells me when my Doomguard needs to be resubjugated. Here I've got tracking all 5 dots. I know what they are. If you want to color code them or change things like that, go for it if it helps you remember. I just know what they are because, well, I designed the system. This also tracks my soul shards, so I know how many I have to spend on Malefic Rapture or Seed of Corruption if we're doing trash. This tracks my Phantom Singularity. I'm not sure what that is for. I do have some stuff from the other specs. Yeah, I think that's from... Yeah, that's Deathbolt. That's from something else. And that was an essence. So anyways, so you'll see I have all 5 dots being tracked, and I know how many soul shards I have. Pretty simple weak aura layout. So your rotation is get all 5 dots up and maintain them. Spend all soul shards on Malefic Rapture. If you have all 5 dots up, you don't have any soul shards, cast Shadow Bolt. That's it. I mean, it's a little difficult to maintain all that, but that's it. That's the whole rotation. So here we go. So, dot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, technically 6 with Phantom Singularity. Pop our cooldowns, extended everything by 8 seconds, and then we just start spamming Malefic Rapture. Can't do Malefic Rapture. Oh, yes we can. Okay, up. Those dots are wearing off. Malefic Rapture. Oh, into cast Bolt. Spam bolts because we've got dots up and we've got no shards. Spam bolts. Spam bolts. Spam bolts. Oh, we got a Malefic Rapture. We've got dots wearing off. That's it. That's the whole rotation. It's really nice when you're casting Shadow Bolt and you get an instant Shadow Bolt because you end up throwing out 2. So that's it. Pretty easy. And as you get more comfortable with it, you can you can move, you can do other things, you can CC, you can interrupt, you can help people and stuff. But it's as you get more comfortable with the rotation. So that's the whole rotation. I will say, as an added tip, all your dots, you want to maintain them. You want to keep them up 100% of the time if you can. If a dot falls off, it's not the biggest worry. If it falls off and you can't recast it for a second or two, it's fine. It's just make sure you get it up as fast as possible because you want as close to 100% uptime as possible. That goes for all dots except one, Agony. Agony inflicts increasing agony on the target, causing up to 1,637 shadow damage over 18 seconds. Damage starts low and increases over the duration. Refreshing Agony maintains its current damage level. So, this ability, if you let it fall off and recast it, will start at a low damage threshold. So, after it's been on for a while, it will go up to the highest damage threshold, and you need to maintain that. Agony is the only one you do not want that to drop off. If you have to forget every other dot, stop casting Malefic Rapture, stop everything you're doing just to maintain your Agony, do it. It's very, very important. So, yeah. Let's see, I don't think there's much more to say. It's a pretty short video, but it's pretty simple. Like I said, the main thing about Affliction Warlocks is just that it's a maintenance spec. It's just maintaining those 5 dots. Can be a little nerve-wracking for people. But if you design a decent weak aura and you understand what's going on, it's honestly not as bad as you'd think. And they're extremely powerful right now. So yeah, hope you enjoyed, and hopefully we'll get a run soon and we'll show off the Warlock in a dungeon. Thanks guys, see you in the next one.